congratulations with Papá Melissa, which is a documentary that is beyond just one personality. It's about a whole family, which I did not anticipate. How did you find Melissa?
It was very serendipitous. It was one of those like magical moments in life where you walk through the same street over and over, but then one day you open this like door into a different magical place, and that's what I felt when I met them. I was totally enchanted by this family, and we had a friend in common who later on um, they did the co-cinematography on with me, Gabriela Reyes Fuchs. And so I asked my friend to set up an appointment and kind of just follow my intuition, and that hunch kind of became a calling. And the more layers I uncovered of the story, the more I felt there was like something higher for me, like a higher calling to tell this story.
So, Constanza, you as a co-producer, what attracted you to want to fulfill the making of this film?
Yeah, so our journey's a little bit different because Domenica and I came in after the movie had already, like, Sophia had a cut and she was like, I feel like I'm looking for producers. I've been producing this myself. So, Sophia as a producer, she's really been a producer of this movie. Like, she had this, like she says, a hunch after she encountered this beautiful family in Coyoacán. And embarked on a journey to tell a story. I think when you are doing documentary, you don't know what story you're telling, right? It's like, you know that you have an interesting subject, and as as you start to film, the story starts to uncover by for itself, no? And so when she showed us the footage, we were absolutely enamored. It was a very long cut, and we were like, okay, I don't understand what you're trying to make. It was very different. It was like a little bit, like she had just put something together, but we could see beyond the layers of what was at the core. I think as a producer, that's a little bit your job. Is like, what is the story I'm telling, and why would I be involved, and why would I want to tell the story? And Domenica and I are producers who are looking for stories that can open hearts and minds, and open the path of empathy for humanity in the world. Really, like, I think it's just like we're humans in this place sharing, the universality of things. And for us, the story's universality was a family journey. A family that reminded me of my family, which, and so we were like, I think that's the universal thing. And so it's been really, really a privilege, truly, to be part of this project.
The family business, how everyone's kind of involved. I mean, can you tell me a little bit about how you developed all those faces in the film?
Well, as Constanza mentioned, the story was unveiling itself as we were filming. Especially the first couple of years, we were kind of, and I say we because we were a small crew, but in a sense, I didn't have a script or a clear direction in which this was gonna go. And I knew I had to get there, but we were basically open to just learn and listen and start getting to know this family at a closer level. So So yes, the story really is, it really kind of started being very evident. Um, for example, what you said about the business, the way they live, they pray, that unity that they hold was very evident from the first time we were there, because this family opened their hearts, opened their homes. They invited us to their table. So I guess in a way it came alive through the family, because the family is just so pues sí, like they have so much depth and substance. So that's kind of how in a way that those same things that the family gave us when opening up would guide me through what ended up being the final script when we finished the cut.
Speaking of the cut, I enjoyed in how you implemented everyone in the family and have their scenes where they're kind of chanting. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came along?
I guess it was from that proper inspiration that we were just talking about, that the family is always making music or playing around or playing an instrument. They're very active in the Aztec dance culture, and so it made sense for us to portray it, but usually they don't let you film there, especially when we put in the camera into like the ceremony of the last scene, for example. Nobody had ever done it from inside the circle of the ceremony. All the filming had happened like tourists on their phones, or people would stand outside and kind of record it. They usually do it in like Coyoacan main plaza. So they don't do it for touristic effects, but it's a touristic place. So when we asked for permission to film there, Melissa has like a high rank in that community and is very active. So they immediately said yes, and they had to smudge the camera and all the equipment before going into the ceremony. It was really interesting, and it really honored us to be able to shoot that scene from within the ceremony. And then we have the other scenes of them dancing with a black background. Those were thought more like, okay, we'll do a leitmotif moment in which we'll like showcase each family member against this black background doing the traditional Aztec dance.
One of the other things that I really admired is how open they were when it comes to talking about the relationship. How I don't know if sometimes maybe those scenes or those conversations can be a little uncomfortable. Were they very natural just to open up and say how they felt? Especially not to mention for with Claudia.
Yes, those questions were a little bit more complicated because of the sensitive como energy that they carry, and it was very important for me to take care of that, whose trust, and honor the fact that they had opened up their home and their family. But in a way, they are very open in general. They always talk everything with the whole family on the table in this like almost ceremonial way, which they pass on the word, kind of like we saw in some of the scenes. And they discuss all family matters in that way, like in an open forum. And Melissa kind of stands by that in the sense that she she has nothing to hide in a way. She just is very unapologetically and authentically herself, and gives that energy off into the rest of the family. So the family really kind of goes by that way of living too, and that it made it a little bit easier for us to bring these sensitive subjects on the table and talk about them.
Melissa is very fun, lots of fun with all very fashionista. Uh, that was one of my highlights. I was like, wow, I could take some pointers. Maybe I should start loving skirts, for example, and how fun and that fun energy. What was it like doing those shoots and feeling that energy yourself?
Well, I've always been very deeply moved by the way Melissa and Claudia who's built a family on their own terms, and despite the very como conservative communities they grew up in, So just like witnessing that charm that Melissa carries and that way she has with words really was captivated me and changed me also in a way because of the way they loved each other, how real they were. Melissa, even though with all of her the contradictions, has so much depth and yeah, I guess human to human, it was always, it felt like a strong energy too. Every time she walks in a room, she has a very strong energy. So that 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 was very como part of why we clicked, I guess, no, because she really opened up to me and trusted me, and a lot of people had reached out to them before to try to film them or interview them or things like that, and they had always said no and were very like um cautious and very skeptical about anyone trying to come and film them. But there was something like a spark between us that um just kind of happened naturally, and because we maintained that like clear communication, I could also tap into that wavelength with her and play around and have fun and keep it real. So it was really, really fun, honestly, to be on set and working with them.
Constanza, were you ever present while filming?
Yeah. So as we were getting closer and closer to sort of finding the story and figuring out the editing, we shot in Mexico City, and it was incredible. We did like a 3-day shoot in Coyoacán. And it was the first time that they had met me, right? Like I had been seeing them for 2 years, like editing the movie with Sophia and whatnot. And Sophia had told them about Dome and I. And then we had to meet, right? And it's like, how do you build that immediate trust, that Sophia has built for the past 4-5 years? But as she says, I was so incredibly there. It was like a magnet, because I think when good peoples and good-hearted people like meet, it's like a soul-to-soul kind of experience. And so they were incredibly open, where they're so excited to come to LALIFF. And even after we shot, we were in the edit for another year. Like it was it was a long journey to sort of hone into how do we honor this story of empathy, love, acceptance, family love, family dynamics in a way that truly honors who they are as people and who they are as a family. And for me, what was so gratifying as I get to know them even more and more is to see the love and respect that the entire family has for each other. Like truly, truly, I get chills like as I speak about that, because the way in which Melissa is there for Claudia and vice versa is rare. Like I don't see that often when I meet a lot of couples. And I hope that they inspire other people to sort of like figure out, it's like, yeah, life is hard. Things come in the way. There's going to be challenges. Society is going to be bullshit. But how do you overcome all of those? And I'm sorry for saying that bad word, but like, how do you overcome those challenges? And how do you stay in your path, in your focus with the people that you love? And so I hope that, that comes across. And I hope that really minds and hearts are open through the film.
Yeah, it definitely shows what unconditional love at another level. I have to say.
Another level.
Yes. So they're going to be present during the premiere on May 31st.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be there. They're so excited. I'm so excited. I don't think I would want to be at the premiere if they weren't there.
And at the Chinese theater.
At the Chinese theater at LALIFF.
That's great. Well, thank you both very much for your time, and congratulations with your film, your documentary. It's a different kind of documentary that aside, I feel like we don't get to see often, especially coming from somewhere in Latin America. Mexico City, where I was born. So for me, it was a pleasure for me to cover for you.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. It's so nice to meet you, and we really appreciate that the film resonated and all of your words. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, my fellow Capitalina. All right,
Super.
well, take care and congratulations.
Well,